Hello everyone, I'm just going to do a little battle system guide. I've been getting a few requests for this. Before I go into battle, I'm going to discuss a bit about the arts and how they function. You have your circle art, your hidden art, or your martial arts on your circle button, and then you have your hidden arts on your X button. For humans and on seraphs, it's seraphic arts. Now, what's important to understand about each art is that it has properties on it, whether it's elemental or creature properties. If you look at Shadowfang here, by its name, you can see it has the earth symbol, which means it hits for earth element. What that means is that if you hit an enemy weak to earth, it's going to cause a weakness combo, and it's going to bring up a weakness multiplier, damage multiplier. And if you look on the right, you can see where it says crustaceans. That's a creature type, and if you fight a crustacean creature type and you hit them with this art, it will also bring up the weakness multiplier. Now, if you hit an elemental weakness, it will give you a 1.50 multiplier, and if you hit a creature type weakness, it will give you a 1.25. So that basically means 0.25 for creature type, 0.50 for elemental type. And there's other little influences, like let's say if I hit the enemy with this elemental art and I stunned them, it would also add an extra 0.25%. So instead of 0.50, it would give me 0.75 if I stun them in the process of hitting their weak point. So those different variables can come into play. I think there's some other ways that you can build it as well. I don't know all the exact specifics to that, but that's the general flow of it, and it's how you're going to approach each battle. When you fight an enemy, you want to look at its weak points, its creature type, and maybe for normal enemies you don't want to get so obsessive over hitting weak points. You may just want to see like one of their weak points that you can easily hit so that you can get rid of them quicker. But let's say you're fighting a boss, it's really important to analyze their weak points, their type points, and set up a combo, set up an art selection that will help you hit those weak points so that you can deal the highest amount of damage and keep them locked in combos more easily. Okay, so with that said, let's go into battle and kind of discuss some battle mechanics. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is just kill some of these enemies real quick so that they don't really interfere with me while I'm trying to explain stuff. Okay, so we have one enemy left. Okay, so first thing I'm going to talk about is how the chaining works in this game. When you first start the game, you're going to have a chain limit of 4. And what uses that chain limit is steps and attacks. And basically what this means is that you have a combination of, you can make any combination up to 4 actions of steps and attacks. And if you step, it's going to advance your chain. So let's first talk about attacks. Let's do like circle, 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 circle. So that's a standard 4-hit combo right there that you're going to start the game with. Now if you look at the second circle, yeah, it's a little dive kick. Let's say I do 1 step and then I press circle. You see I'm going to go to that dive kick instead of starting with this first slash. So when you step, it advances your circle string by 1 action, and you can advance all the way to the final action, or third action. It just depends. Now the importance of this is that maybe you want to hit a certain weak point that only a later move offers. Maybe you don't want to hit them with the early moves because they resist them, so that you may get hit back because you want to stagger them, or you just want to hit that weak point. So you can utilize it for multiple reasons, whether it be for specifically targeting weak points, or if you dodge an attack and try to counterattack instantly, you're gonna start later in your string. And let me switch to seraphs real quick. Seraphs kind of have a little extra function they can take advantage of with this. Seraphs have spells on their X button, and the further you advance in the chain, whether it's through steps or through attacks, the faster the spell speed goes. So let me get a spell here. let's say like Splash for instance. Okay, so let's look at how long it takes to cast Splash. You can see it's kind of a slower spell. It takes some time to get out. Well, let's say I do like 3 steps and then I cast it. Whoops. 1, 2, 3. That was just 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there you go. You see it came out a lot faster if I do a few steps in advance before casting the spell. Now, that's obviously a benefit of allowing yourself to cast spells quicker, but of course, the more of your chains you use up, the less actions you can have. So you kind of only want to use it if maybe you want to get a single spell out real quick, for some quick damage, or just trying to contain the enemy for your allies. But otherwise, you may want to just take the time to cast it from the beginning so that you can chain more spells together with your 4 chain count. Now, there are ways that you can increase your chain count, which is going to be through the skill system. If you have at least 4 of the same element, which I'm not going to put right now because I have a very specific skill setup, but you see like over here I was going to have 4. So if you can get like 4 of the same ability stacked, you're going to get chain +1, which will let you chain 5 actions instead of 4. I highly recommend getting that skill as early as possible, even if you have to sacrifice some stat points to do it, because having extra actions really opens up the windows for what you can do battle-wise, especially concerning Kamui and Seraphs. And you can also get some titles that do that as well. Like let's say Rose here, she has a title, Girl of the Abyss, which gives number of combos in normal state +1. So there's different ways to build your chain count. Now, of course, right now I have Eternity. Eternity is the highest chain skill you can get, bonus skill you can get, which lets you combo forever as long as you have SC. Of course, you're not really going to get that throughout your first playthrough. That's kind of a new game plus thing, or you would have to grind a very specific setup to get it on a first playthrough, but this is kind of like a new game plus thing. But generally, getting chain +1, maybe even 2 depending on the character or how much you like having more chain. But the only thing with having a lot of chain extra chains, is that you may burn through your SC too quickly to use all your chains. So I recommend at least +1, and if you feel like you can squeeze +2 in, go for it. It's probably best if you do try to squeeze chains in, that you do it with the chain skill that reduces SC by +1% per combo. That's probably going to be a good way to do it, so that you're not burning through your SC too quickly. Because you know, sometimes I have like chain +4 on my character, and it doesn't matter because they run out of SC before they even have the ability to do 8 chains. So at least 1 chain is good, and you can kind of try to maybe put more in if you think you can handle it, your SC limit can handle it. Okay, so let me talk about the BC gauge, which is the little circle down there with the number inside of it, and the different blast cancel options you have. So after 1 single attack, you're gonna get the ally attack. This is a pretty strong option, but it's very costly to use this action. All of the blast cancels in this game, unfortunately, are really costly to use, and using that one, which comes after their first attack, is probably a pretty big investment for a lot of people. But the good thing about the ally strike is that you can hit them from a distance like that. You don't actually have to be close to them, and it will actually pick enemies up off the ground. So let's say if you knock a enemy on the ground and you don't want to risk losing your combo, you can use that to bring them back up. So that's one of the strongest aspects of that. Now let's talk about the blast cancel 2. After 2 hits, you do the R2. This is kind of like a beast type attack. It's going to knock the enemy back and away. This is kind of just a way to get enemies off of like your allies or something, or you just put them in a knockdown state so you have a chance to recuperate. Now for Seraphs, they can kind of do some fancy combo options after it, since a lot of their spells will hit enemies laying on the ground and bring them back up. but for the most part, as a move, as utility wise, it's a move you're going to use to just get the enemy down on the ground so that you can kind of have some breathing room. Now the third cancel, this basically resets your strength and it gives you 50 CC back. So this is basically the combo one. This is the one you're going to use when you want to extend your combos, fill your SC back up. You can kind of use it both to extend combos, or maybe if you're ending a combo string, you can just use it and then back out. You don't have to keep comboing afterwards, because another bonus it has is that it fills your SC back up. So maybe you just want to use it so that you can get that SC filled up quickly, so you don't have to sit back and hold guard or do whatever. So there's two ways you can utilize that, as a combo extension or a quick way to build SC back. Okay, so let me just get into a new battle because this guy's about to die. Okay, so that's the basics, and now I'm gonna kind of go into some more. I'm gonna start talking about serifs and some more technical stuff in general. Okay, so once again, let me get rid of these enemies. See, get this guy. Oh crap. Gonna have to get a new battle. Did too much damage. Okay, so we have one enemy here. So let me switch to back to a Seraph. Let me get Zavid out. He's gonna be good for explaining what I want to explain next. We have Hell's Gate here. Okay, so now I want to talk about an interesting aspect of spells, utilizing spells and managing the SC. You can do an ability called Spell Hold, which means if you hold the X button down, you will stay in the spellcasting animation. Now this is something that has existed in past Tales games, but what makes it really interesting here is that during the Spell Hold animation, you will actually regenerate your SC. So if you can see right now, I'm casting my spell, you see my SC is down. Now I'm going to hold the X and you see it starts to regenerate my SC while I'm holding the spell. Now you may ask, what does that mean? What can I do with that? It's a good way to, let's say you want to keep your, when you step and you get the reduced spellcasting, you get the faster spellcasting, maybe you realize you burned through too much of your SC, but you still want to keep chaining your spells with that reduced speed. So in the middle of casting your first spell in your combo, you can hold it first to build your SC back up, and then once you build it back up, you can continue letting your barrage of spells now that you have a fresh bar of SC to work with, as opposed to not being able to chain anymore because you burned through all your SC just trying to set up the first spell. This also means that you can set yourself up for combo options as well, because let's say some spells, they give you combo opportunities. Like right now the spell was Avid that I'm about to use. I'm going to hold it. Hell's Gate, I can run in afterwards and I can kind of get a combo follow-up, as you see. And you know, it may be better for me to charge my SC back to max before I run in and get that combo follow-up, because that way I have a full bar of SC to work with. So that's kind of different ways you can utilize spell holding. It's actually really powerful. It's extremely powerful, and if you find yourself having a hard time managing SC while spellcasting, it's definitely something to keep in mind and to utilize, because it helps immensely in SC management and taking advantage of keeping your reduce spell casting through multiple chaining. Okay, next let's go into Kamui and talk about... Actually no, let me switch to Miglio first. Sorry guys, just 1 second. Okay, so I'm going to talk a bit about a unique mechanic, which is spell canceling. Now, spell canceling, just a quick history on spell canceling, has pretty much existed in every Tales game, as early as Symphonia, maybe even earlier than Symphonia, but I wasn't really aware of it in any game before Symphonia, so I know it from Symphonia and on. And it was a really powerful technique that lets you... Basically the way spell canceling works is that when you do an attack, there's a certain amount of frames that you can cut out of your recovery. Like let's say you're doing a full attack and you see Miglio will have a recovery animation where he has to, you know, spin around and stand still and all that where he can make another action. What spell canceling does is you can cancel some of those recovery frames, and then you can cancel the spell into, well, you cancel some of the recovery frames into a spell, and then you cancel the spell into guard, which then basically saves you a lot of frames. And that's a very technical kind of, it's a very technical mechanic, and you know, the whole saving frames and something, this is something people that play fighting games and very technical action games will understand. But basically what it does is to put it simple, it allows you to do combos that are normally naturally impossible. And so I'm just going to kind of explain a little bit about that. Not every move can be spell cancelled and comboed after, but spell cancelling isn't just for keeping combos going, it's also a way to protect yourself. Because let's say you have a move with a lot of recovery at the end, and you can just spell cancel like that to get yourself into a defensive stance much quicker than normal. That way you can protect yourself if you feel like an enemy is incoming or something. So it has offensive and defensive utility. So let me kind of show off an offensive utility now. Miglio, his up circle art is one of his best ones for spell cancelling, Torrent Fang. So let me do... let me try to get him in a combo. Wait till he's out of stun. Okay. So as you see right there, by spell cancelling the Torrent Fang, I was able to save some animation frames, recovery animation frames, and I was able to set up another attack immediately after to do a combo that is normally impossible. If I let him recover naturally and then try to start a new combo, it would never happen. There would be too many recovery and startup frames to keep that combo going. So spell cancelling will allow you to do stuff like that. Now, the timing for spell cancelling can be tricky. It's much more trickier than past games. If you're familiar with spell cancelling in past games, it's much more. It requires a more strict timing in this game. Like in past games, it was a really generous spell cancel window, really easy to do. In this game, it requires a more precise timing if you want to keep certain combos going. But the reward for spell cancelling is worth it. And let me just talk about the history of spell cancelling again. It was really strong in games like Symphonia and Abyss. It started to lose its utility in Zestiria. In Zestiria, it did have some use, but because Zestiria was so generous in combat options, it wasn't like super important compared to the previous games, where for some characters it was the only way for them to do elaborate combos. And then, you know, in games like Graces and Zestiria, it still existed, but it was very much just for the people who played more exhibition style gameplay. It didn't have a lot of utility as a gameplay mechanic. But back here in Zestiria, spell cancelling is very significant. Very significant. It's worth learning the timing. It's worth incorporating it into your gameplay. The timing can be a little strict to pick up at first, but it's worth learning it because, like I said, it opens up your options considerably. So let me kind of show Kamui, for instance. Kamui is actually one of the best ways to utilize spell canceling. You want to use it with Seraphs, but because Seraph's circle, their martial arts are not that strong, it doesn't have a lot of utility outside of just keeping enemies in stun lock. Now, Kamui, or Armatization, I should say. Kamui is the Japanese pronunciation for it, but Armatization has amazing use of spell canceling. So you can do something like with Earth Kamui, you can do something like circle, circle, circle. You can spell cancel that, and you can literally just keep looping the circle, circle, circle string over and over. Let me try to find a stronger enemy to show that on. We have this boss type enemy out here. Let me demonstrate it here. Let me turn on the difficulty for demonstration purposes. So, get into this battle. Let me see what he's weak to. He's resistant to Earth. I kind of wanted to show Earth Kamui, but let me see if I can hit his weak point easily. Crystal Tower? Alright, I guess I'll go for it. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of show an example of how you can use spell canceling to kind of mess that up there. Alright. Yeah, I messed that up. So, as you can see there, sometimes I mess up that timing because the timing is a little strict. But you can see right there, I spell canceled. Now, Earth Kamui, I forgot, it does have a tendency to knock enemies down on the last hit. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But with Earth Kamui, you can actually do like circle. Hold on. You can do like side circle, spell cancel. So there you go. So as you see there, you can do like the second hit of the side circle string where it knocks the wall up. That can be spell canceled after. You just kind of have to find what moves you can spell cancel after. It's not a lot of moves for each character, probably like 2 or 3, but you can definitely. There may be more. It's just the timing may be more strict to keep the combo going. I haven't like explored it super extensively. You know, I found like one or two moves I'm really comfortable with spell canceling, and then go from there. But that's the general idea of spell canceling, and I highly recommend learning it because it just really helps a lot. It helps at an incredible amount. You know, I've always played with it, and I find it really hard to imagine playing without it. Okay, so that's pretty much the general idea of the battle system. Let me talk about Mystic Arts. Mystic Arts, they also use the BG gauge. Mystic Arts are extremely powerful in this game. They're honestly just straight up killers in this game. And if you find yourself struggling against any boss, I highly recommend going in with your BG gauges full and just unleashing as many Mystic Arts as you can, because more times than not you'll probably kill the boss with any series of Mystic Arts because they deal that much damage. They're really strong in this game, which, you know, compared to some other Tales games where Mystic Arts are a lot of flash and not a lot of results, they're definitely really strong here, especially the Armatization ones. If you can Armatize, this is ideally what you want. You want to Armatize, you want to stun the enemy, you want to get them in a power hit, and then you want a Mystic Art. So if you hit an enemy who is stunned in a power hit combo with a Mystic Art, they're pretty much going to die, or they're going to be left with very little health. So that's kind of the ideal way you want to go about performing Mystic Arts. And if you're using Kamui, and you can also use the Banish Blast. That's when you press R2 while attacking. Now, normally if you do the Banish regularly, it's very slow. it's not worth it. I honestly don't recommend it because you're kind of gambling, because it's so slow that any number of things can happen. The enemy can move out of the way, the enemy can hit you, the enemy can be moved out of your range by your allies, who knows. But quick banish, on the other hand, if you hit an enemy who is stunned, if you cancel into your banish blast, it's very much worth it. It's for only 1 BG bar. The amount of damage you can get off of a quick banish, which will be hitting a stunned enemy, is quite a bit. Ideally, if you can, you want to like quick banish into a mystic art. Now that will take a little more BG to pull off, but the damage will be really brutal. That's about it. Let me just kind of go into battle a little bit. Just kind of go into battle. I kind of want to show off more of that spell holding thing I was talking about. So let me just round up a bunch of enemies here, and I'm going to kind of show you how I can keep myself in a spell casting state the entire battle. Actually, this is not going to work because I don't have the difficulty high enough. Let me turn the difficulty up. Okay, so let's get all these enemies into battle. Okay. So I'm gonna go into faction move here. Let's say I do 2 steps. I can use Calamity Flare to push them away. Now I'm just gonna start dropping Ancient Novas, and I'm running out of SC now, so I'm gonna hold my spell to fill my SC back up, and then I'm just gonna continue my barrage of spells. I didn't mean to do that, but I can get that from that, so no big deal. So kind of showing the power of that spell holding and how I can refill my SC to keep my spell chain going. Of course, this is really easy for me to do right now because I'm using the Eternity skill, but you can still take advantage of it even if you only have limited chaining, because there's a lot of times where I would start my, let's say I would start my spell on like the 3rd chain, and then I would realize I don't even have enough SC left to go into my 4th chain with a spell. So you can still take advantage of it even if you can't abuse it to that extent until you get like Eternity like I have, but you can still take advantage of spell holding. Or like I was showing with Zavid, you can set up his Hell Gate so that when you run in and combo afterwards, you have a full bar of SC to play with. Let me just talk a bit about battle actions, and battle actions that I find really important. Attack step. This is incredibly helpful battle action to get. You have to do like a perfect evade on like 300 moves. It's best to find a spell, an enemy that casts a spell like Splash or any long duration spell that you can step through to get this, because what's really powerful with attack step is it counts as a martial art, which means it interrupts spells, and basically you can stop some spell reliant enemies from fighting pretty much entirely with attack step, because anytime you see them about to cast a spell, you can just dash straight into them with attack step and cancel their spell. So it's very much worth learning attack step. You see it has that little red aura when you dash. Now attack step does use a lot of SC, a lot more SC than a regular dash, but it's worth it. It's worth getting that ability as early as you can, because it's going to help you immobilize spellcasters. Outside of that, you know, you can bring whatever is good for you, whatever you use. You know, aerial recovery works. You can have a longer step if you want. All these skills, you just kind of take them as you want. You know, throughout most of the game, you should be able to equip almost every skill you learn. It's only towards the end of the game where you may have to sacrifice a couple of skills, depending on your preferences. But you can kind of pick whatever you want as you're going through the game your first time. since you'll usually have more ability points than you'll be able to spend until you start unlocking some of the more hardcore skills. Let's see what else. If there's anything else I can go over. Nothing really critical, I feel. Let me talk about armatization tricks. Actually, let me talk about a couple of little tricks that I know. Let's say when you armatize, it takes at least 1 bar of the character you're controlling though. Let's say like if Sori has 0 bars but Lila has 1 bar, I can switch to Lila and then I can armatize through Lila with Sori. So if you have 0 BG but you see that your partner has BG, switch to them to armatize if you need to armatize. That's one little trick. Another little trick, you can switch your allies of course by pressing the directions. And this is really handy technique that never really seen people talk about much, but it's actually a really big deal. But let's say like your allies are being attacked. I mean, I just let them all get mauled right here, so kind of too late to. Let me turn the difficulty down. But basically what you can do is when you switch characters, there's a little phase where they teleport away before the other character comes back in. And if one of your partners are being attacked and you want to you're afraid they're gonna die or something, you can teleport them out, and the enemy's attacks will actually miss them. Or you're just gonna save them in general. So let's see if maybe these guys will target one of my allies, and I can give an example of it. They're attacking Rose, but you cannot switch Rose out. Rose is obviously the only exception to that. But if these guys decide to attack McLeo, let's say you see I have Zavid over there, I can just press the direction and switch him out. And if an enemy was trying to attack Lila or whoever I have out, I can just switch them and they'll be safe for a brief moment. Whoever come in may start to get attacked, but I can at least save one of my characters from dying, or I can just alleviate some of the pressure for a small amount of time. So that's kind of a really interesting trick you can learn to take advantage of if you feel like your Seraphs are getting pressured too much and they're dying too much. That attack that can help you in some regards to that, but it's only going to help a little bit, not a lot, but still worth considering. So that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, just feel free to ask. I covered as much as I could, but I didn't want to, there's a lot of little details I could have went over. I didn't really go into like the most crazy stuff I know, but you guys have seen my videos. Maybe there's something you saw in a video that you want to understand why or how I did it, or if you just have your own questions that maybe I can answer for you, feel free to ask. See you later, guys.